Can you guys see me? Yes. Good. How's it going, guys? I am the Texas Man. Welcome back to the channel and to another video. I hope you guys are all having an amazing day. Thank you guys all for the love and support for the channel. We are at 40 subscribers strong, and I hope the channel will continue to grow. Like I said in my past videos, if I can get to 50 subscribers, somebody luckily is going to get an amazing cash prize. So even if you're not like into every single video that I make, share the fact that the Texas Man channel is here on YouTube, completely free, completely open to the public, and I would really appreciate it if you guys just share around that I exist. You don't have to watch every single video. I understand everyone has their own schedule and their own lives, but just share around and watch on occasion when you can. So with that said, we're going to get into something that unfortunately I've had to be putting on hold for a while because of things going on in my personal life, but I'm finally getting to it, guys. Designated Survivor Season 1. I finished this about 3 weeks ago, but it's taken me a while to actually get my review completely finished, and with things going on in my personal life, it's just been a bit crazy, and but I'm getting to it. And since I finished this like 3 weeks ago, I am like chugging along with season 2, and I'm really excited to review that for you guys too. I know there is a season 3 of Designated Survivor. Unfortunately, it's on Netflix, and I do not do Netflix, so I'm not going to be reviewing it, and I will explain why in my Designated Survivor season 2 review. And honestly, I think season 2 has a good enough ending where I'm like, I don't understand why they did a season 3 to begin with. I think they're just beating a dead horse at that point. Like, if you have an ending, just leave well enough alone. Personal opinion. So I'm going to talk about positives and negatives, and then give you guys my final review score for Designated Survivor Season 1. So first of all, we got a lot of amazing actors and actresses from the show 24. Of course, Kiefer Sutherland. I think I said that right. Kiefer Sutherland is in here, and he's the Designated Survivor. He's the dude that no one wanted him to be at the State of the Union address. He ends up surviving an attack on the Capitol that wipes out everybody in the government. And this guy, the Designated Survivor, overnight, because he wasn't at the State of the Union I can't talk today, State of the Union address, he ends up becoming the Designated Survivor. And it's based on the what if scenario if that actually happened. And I honestly had a blast when this show premiered back in, I think it was 2016 or 2017. So it's been really recent that the show started up. Also, really quick, when I'm talking about positives and negatives, there are some things I'm going to be talking about based on the fact that you've watched the show. There will be things that I talk about if you haven't seen the show. So just let you know, I'm going to be doing like a 50-50 kind of like, if you know what I'm talking about kind of thing. So first of all, there's some jokes in this show, but a lot of times this show is extremely dark and intense. There's not a lot of room for jokes in this season. I'm like almost halfway done with season 2, and there are a lot more jokes in that season. Season 1 is really dark and gritty, along with political stuff that does happen in the show, and I really like that for that. It's this show, if you're curious as to like what I would call it, it's basically a political drama mixed in with elements from the show 24. Like, there's a FBI agent, and she is the very definition of what Jack Bauer was in 24, and I'm like, cool. It's also very clear in this show who you are supposed to like and who you are supposed to hate with a passion. Most of the events in the aftermath of the State of the Union bombing are believable, yet there are some that are clearly dramatized, and I'm like, yeah, this is no way possible that this would happen in reality. A big thing that this show stresses is that family is very, very important at all times. Doesn't matter if it's in the good or it's during a catastrophe, family is very important. There's a lot of cool black male story arcs that are in this season. There's some Golden Corral jokes. We actually get to see a bit of Camp David. I believe in season 2 we actually get to see a lot more of it, which I'm really excited for. Another important part of this show is that every single American life matters in war. And every life in war also matters. I'm not just, saying American life is the only thing that matters. But life in general is important. And this show also stresses that a great deal. I loved the love story arc between the chief of staff and the president's advisor. It was both unique, believable, and it was a cool plot twist that they kind of threw around with. Unfortunately, since I'm halfway through season 2, I'm going to give you a big spoiler. It goes nowhere. Literally, season 2 kind of throws arcs and plot devices and subplots out the window that season 1 created. Ooh, that's pissing me off right now. I'm watching season 2. Back to season 1. The mid-season finale of the shock of who got shot during the president's speech. Like, did the first lady get shot? Did the president get shot? Did one of his advisors or somebody close to him get shot? Who got shot? And I really like that moment. That dark black screen the first time you see it. I'm like, you'll be like, who got shot? I need to watch the next episode. It's really cool. Learning that the vice president is a terrorist, the dude that ends up surviving the Capitol bombing. You find out that he's a domestic terrorist, and he was involved in the bombing of the State of the Union. That was a really cool moment. There's an episode that is designated just to gun control. And whether you are for or against it or whatever, in this show, I think they did a pretty well done job at giving both sides a platform and giving you both the pros and cons to both sides. And also, I think the finale speech for the last episode was also amazing. So that's going to do it for positives. For negatives, the show, first of all, does not show much of the president/first lady's children. So in the show, there's a teenage boy, he's in his high school years, and then there's a little girl, and she, I believe, is like 6 or 7, and they're around, but they're not shown a lot. And I understand, the point of the show is called Designated Survivor, and you're hunting down whoever bombed the Capitol and all that jazz. I just kind of wanted to see a little more of them. They kind of feel like they got pushed to the side a lot. Like they weren't even secondary characters or third characters. They're just like hanging in the wind, like, yeah, they exist. They're in this room over there. Don't bother them. I'm like, okay. Like, wow. Only when it came to like moments of like family drama did they get pulled in. Like, oh no, I'm so unsafe being here at the White House. Okay, whatever. Secondly, for negatives, there are way too many arcs that never end up going anywhere, and there are some that just go on forever, and when they finally do end, they have a crappy ending. So keep that in mind. There's a lot of subplots. There's also many characters in the show, and because of that, a lot of them end up leaving after only being in the show for like 4 episodes. Like there's a general character, and he's in it for like 4 episodes, and the president's like, okay, you just authorized a military strike against a allied nation. Goodbye. And I'm like, well, that's one way to get rid of a character. The congressman surviving the attack on the Capitol. I'm just like, when I saw that, and I'm like, okay, one dude survives the entire Capitol bombing. Yeah, he was in on it. I'm like, when they announced in the show, they're like, oh no, he's a domestic terrorist. He helped bomb the Capitol. I'm like, did anyone else in the show, if this was reality, by the way, did anyone think that, there's one person that survives this massive attack? Why did he survive? Like, there's no possible way that he survives for no reason. I'm like, I was like, okay, he's part of the attack. That's going to be dragged out. I didn't believe that they're like, oh no, he's not part of it. Okay, whatever. I didn't like or care about the president arc where the president's son is like, I don't know if he's my son or not. He might be this dude that's in jail. I'm like, I didn't care about that. There's this NSA worker, and he ends up giving the president, the designated survivor, the president, He gives him a blueprint of the Capitol showing all the explosions and whatnot of what would happen if someone tried to bomb the Capitol. And this NSA worker ends up going to jail because he ends up hacking the NSA network to get all these blueprints to give to the president. Of course, that's a federal crime. So he ends up getting sent to federal prison. And then after the fact that everyone knows who is responsible for the Capitol bombing, and everyone's either captured or killed, even in season 2, when they get Patrick Lloyd, he just gets stuck in federal prison, even though he was like the main dude that proved the fact that, hey, I'm not part of it. I'm trying to help you. I wasn't part of the bombing. Let me out. No, he's just stuck in federal prison, I guess. That's just like, I don't understand that one. There's a lot of killing of characters as soon as they get interesting, and that really irritated me. Like the vice president and her wife, I'm like, kind of wanted them to be around for a little longer, even though they were villains of some sort. Oh, and when the wife of the president, the VP's wife, leaves to try to stop her husband, which is VP, from talking and spilling the beans, basically, that they were in on the Capitol bombing. Apparently, she has no Secret Service detail with her when she leaves the VP residence, and I'm just like, that was dumb. Also for negatives, I know I feel like I'm beating a dead horse. I'm going down a list. There's just so many negatives with this season. The first half of the season is a big mystery thriller, and you're like, who bombed the Capitol and whatnot, right? Then after the first half of the season, it changes. The show changes dramatically into a big manhunt. And I just didn't like that. Like, I like change, but like keep with one theme primarily for a season, and then when you get to the second season, then you can change up things. And it just felt like they changed things too much. 2 more things. Honestly, I'm not sure why a season 2 is needed at all, when 99% of those that bomb the Capitol are either killed or arrested at the season's end. The only person that survives the killing or the capture is Patrick Lloyd, the head mastermind. He escapes, and that leads into season 2. I just don't understand why they couldn't like end it with one season. Like, why did they have to drag it out to 2 seasons? Because in season 2, give me a second. Yeah, in season 2, episode 2, they find Patrick Lloyd and they just bomb him with a drone strike. And so for the rest of season 2 that I've been watching so far, it's like it has nothing to do with the Capitol bombing. It's just a political drama show now. And I'm like, it's moved away. And I'm like, they should have just made it one season and be done. Or they make it where season 2 was all about trying to find Patrick Lloyd, but even that would have been dragged out. So I'm just like, they should have done one season. And lastly, the villains, the people that bombed the Capitol, they're just a bunch of domestic terror groups. I'm like, really? You're not even a terrorist organization from another country that bombed it. No, you're just a bunch of pissed off Americans that didn't like how the government was being run. So you bombed them all to death. I'm sorry about that, irritates my soul. So, although with all those negatives that I just ranted off to you guys, there are positives to this show. I enjoy watching it. There's things that irritate me, and there's things that'll irritate you too if you really want to dive deep into this show. But with all that said, guys, I'm going to give Designated Survivor Season 1 an 8.5 out of 10. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys all have an amazing day, and I will see you guys in the next video.